I'm Laura Cotton. I want to thank you all for joining us today, and we're going to walk through some of the great updates that have been made to Saleo Capture, as well as get into some best practices and tips. I'm very pleased to be joined today by two Saleo experts, Eunice and Brian. And before we dive in, I just want to give you a couple very quick reminders. There'll be time at the end of the session for questions. Throw those in the Q&A just so we can keep those separate from the chat window. And the webinar will be recorded and made available to everyone. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and hand things over to Eunice to get us started.
Great. Thanks so much, Laura. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. Like Laura said, my name is Eunice Pak. I'm a customer success manager here at Saleo, coming up on almost 2 years, and really excited to walk you all through Capture today. And also turn it over to my colleague, Brian, to introduce himself before we get started as well.
Thanks, Eunice. Nice to see everyone. My name is Brian. I'm an implementation manager here at Saleo, and similar to Eunice, I'm coming up on my 2 years here. So excited to walk you through some of what we've got today.
Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. So in terms of the agenda, we'll kind of do a quick overview of the Capture product more generally for anyone who may not be as familiar with it. We'll talk you through some of the more recent new features that we've released over the last few months as it pertains to Capture. And then Brian is actually going to walk us through a live demo of one of those new features. And then we'll share a couple of best practices as well as tips and tricks, review some additional use cases by persona, and then we'll have a few minutes at the end for Q&A. But please feel free to drop any questions that you have in the Q&A box throughout the session today, and we'll make sure that we answer those at the end. All right, so like I said, starting with a quick overview. So many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with our Saleo Live product, but Capture is our product that allows you to take your live product and turn it into an interactive, clickable tour that you can share both with internal stakeholders as well as with customers and prospects along their journey. So really allowing you to allow your prospects to do some of that self-education early on in the sales funnel, but also using it for various use cases like enablement, internal training, etc. And then really the power of Capture comes from how Live and Capture work together. So you can take captures of your native product as it exists today, but when you then layer it on top of some of the customizations and personalizations that you've done through Saleo Live, that's where you really unlock that full potential of Capture. And when it comes to Capture, we actually have two different kind of flavors of the Capture product. So we have guided tours, which is more of a step-by-step going from A to B to C, very linear path that you can provide, along with tooltips and annotations and dialogue that help take that user through that journey. And then we also have Light Sandbox, which is more of an open-ended kind of a choose your own adventure type experience, if you will, that allows the user to explore more freely and have it feel more like they're in your live environment without having to go through the process of setting up a sandbox environment in your actual live product. And then along with that, we also offer analytics for Capture. So we have individual analytics at the tour level, but you can also get aggregate analytics across your entire tour to allow you to take, action on the insights that you're getting from Capture tours. So let's get into some of the new features that we've released over the last few months. All right, so I think this is the biggest feature that a lot of our customers and even our internal team has been waiting on is the ability for post-capture editing. So what this allows you to do is to create a base template of a capture, and then within the capture that you've already taken, you can go in and edit text and images without having to leave the capture product and go take additional snapshots within your live environment. So not only does this help with efficiency, It also helps with making sure that the rest of your team is on brand and on message with their tours, but still allowing them some level of customization and personalization. So similar to how text and image replacement works in the live product, you can choose exactly where those changes apply. So you can choose to edit just a single spot, you can edit an entire page, or you can edit more globally across your entire tour. And then this will allow you, like I said, to quickly update things like a company name or a logo to ensure that it's relevant to your particular audience based on the industry or their geographic region. The next feature that we've more recently released is our persistent CTA button. So for those of you that are familiar with Capture already, you may already know that we offer the ability to include a form in your welcome message that users must fill out before they can explore the tour itself. But many of our customers prefer to drive to their demo request page on their native website. And so this is what this persistent CTA button allows you to do. So this button will persist across your entire tour on every single snapshot. And this can also be customized using our branding center so that you can apply your brand colors, your brand font, as well as a logo to this button. You can control the experience when users click on that button, whether it opens a new tab or stays on the existing tab. And the main use case is to drive the viewer to engage with your team or set up time with an SDR or an AE. But there are some additional use cases across our customer base. So you can use this to drive to the product page on your website for continual engagement and self-education. If you have a larger landing page with additional capture tours, you can also drive them there. But there's a lot of different options because you can actually lead to any external URL through the CTA button. All right, the next exciting update that we've had is the ability to use Zapier for various integrations. So we actually have, a full library of integrations that you can connect your Saleo data to, and you can actually manage this directly in the Saleo portal itself. And there are plenty of pre-built templates that make it really easy within Zapier for you to set up these integrations. But some common use cases here are pushing contact or lead data to various nurture and retargeting campaigns for your marketing team. You can send this to platforms like Slack or Teams for real-time alerts that they can take action on based on engagement with the tours. You can also push these to various BI tools or tools that your SDRs may use to take action. So there's definitely a lot that you can explore here. So if you have any specific questions about tools that we integrate with or how this might work, please feel free to reach out directly to your CSM or implementation manager. All right. So moving into, before I move specifically into talking about Capture for mobile, another feature that we recently added is the ability to add screenshots to existing tours or have a tour made up completely of screenshots. And so you don't have to take live snapshots of your environment. Many of our customers use this for Figma or other similar design files for features that may not yet be generally available. Maybe they want to have some sort of teaser for prospects, or you want to use it for, again, internal enablement before it's actually available, even in beta or early release. So that's also a common use case. And with that, we allow you to upload either desktop dimension screenshots or mobile dimension screenshots. And actually the demo that Brian is going to do for us later on in the conversation will be specifically around mobile screenshots. But with that, just to kind of give you a quick overview, this allows you to take screenshots or again, like I said, Figma or other design type files and combine them with desktop screenshots as well, so that you can tell a complete story across all the devices that your product interacts or works with. So this allows you to showcase not only mobile only experiences, but also kind of hybrid experiences or cross device experiences. And you don't actually have to have the app or a mobile device for your team to be able to show this through a desktop experience. So the general flow for that, sorry, I'm having some issues with navigating to the next slide. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right, so how it works, you can build your mobile demos directly in the Saleo portal under the Capture tab in the portal, and then you can upload screenshots of your app. You can layer in tooltips and dialogue and links just like you would in a desktop dimension tour. And again, Brian's going to walk us through exactly what this experience looks like. One additional functionality that we have added is the ability to also include videos as a part of your tour. So if some of you recall, if you have experience with Capture already, we did have the ability to add a video or embed a video into a dialogue or your welcome and exit message. This is actually including a video as a snapshot in your tour. And so this can be really great if you're showing more dynamic product features, particularly things like AI bots or AI behaviors, where you want it to show a little bit more of like your AI thinking or processing, and you want to be able to show that more realistically. If you have more complex workflows with lots of different steps, videos can also be a great use case or a great solution there. Videos will autoplay, and if you have sound as a part of your video, it will also be included on that particular page. And then as soon as the video is over, it will automatically advance the viewer to the next step in the tour. So if you haven't had the chance to leverage this already, I would highly recommend you go in and play around with this. I was able to do this very simply just the other day by using tools like Loom or Screencast to capture a screen recording, and then you can upload that directly from your local device. All right, and with that, we're going to move over to the live demo section, and I will turn it over to Brian.
Awesome. Thanks, Eunice. So I'm excited to jump in and show you all the mobile capture side of things. Just want to make sure, hopefully everyone can see my screen. If you can't, please pop it into chat that you can't. But you'll notice I have two different mobile examples here. We'll go into how I created these and what this looks like after you've created it. But as Eunice was mentioning, you'll go to the tour place, the tour tab within your portal. And at the top right, you'll be able to create a new tour. Now, what you've typically done, if you're already used to Capture, is usually creating Capture tours within the extension itself. Now, with mobile, you'll want to start from the actual portal. So once I've clicked New Tour, you'll see I can still start from extension, which is what you've typically been used to using a live demo. Now you can do images. And just to show you as well what Eunice was mentioning around videos, this is where that video portion lives as well. But we'll click images. And when you press continue, you'll go ahead and name this. So we'll just call this webinar 1211 and click whether you want that to be guided or light sandbox. At that point, you'll be presented with, do you want these to be desktop screenshots or do you want this to be mobile? In this case, we're going to do a mobile tour. So you would go ahead and click mobile, and that's where you're presented with the ability to upload or drag and drop the images that you want to place in. So what we recommend before you place these in is go to your mobile phone and take all of the screenshots that you need and upload them from there. So you'll end up emailing them to yourself or airdropping them if you have Mac. Or if you use Figma, you can also use those downloaded images as well and use those as mobile images too. So it doesn't have to come from your cell phone, but it could also come from Figma that work up to tell that future state story. So I've already uploaded an example here, and this is the way that a mobile capture would look. Essentially, all of these are screenshots, and the difference here is instead of actually taking a full snapshot of your website where we're scraping the DOM, we have all of the code in the back end. These are truly snapshots in time or screenshots of that page. There's no code here. So the way that you're going to interact with this is going to be a tad different. And just wanted to show if I'm going to link something. So let's say I want to link Google or Apple to another screenshot. I'm going to actually have to highlight the area that I want to link. So if you're used to going through normal desktop capture, not looking at mobile, you will already have the code in the background, and Saleo Capture will be able to indicate which buttons are actually clickable. With mobile capture, since you're uploading screenshots, you will have to dictate which of those are actual links, and then you can link those to specific pages just like you're used to. Now, when it comes to certain pages like this, I know there are a lot of links here, but I wanted to note at the very bottom of this page, there is, let me zoom out here a little bit. At the bottom of most mobile applications, there is a menu bar. And maybe that's at the top, maybe it's at the bottom, but regardless, that menu is going to remain consistent throughout a lot of different snapshots. We don't want you to have to go to every single one of your screenshots, snapshots, and have to link the home, the tickets, the actual flight history settings. In this example, that would be a lot of clicking. And so what we've created is the ability to create a mobile template. And so I'm actually going to play this demo and show you what I mean, and then we'll do a live example here. So when I'm on this page, history will go to history. And when I'm on history, you'll notice that bar at the bottom isn't going to change, just like a normal mobile application. And so what I've done in the back end is I've created a template at the bottom where these links, no matter which page all of these show on, it's going to make it where I can click around to all of those and in one fell swoop connect all of those pages at once. So how did I do that? There is a new button at the bottom that you'll notice when you're doing your post capture editing. It's called Manage Mobile Templates. When you click there, you will be able to create a header or a footer. And so I'll just show you what a header looks like. Essentially, you're just dictating which is the area. And so I've already done that at the bottom there, which you can see that I've made this a footer. At that point that I've made that a footer, I am going to then tell that footer not only where each one of these is supposed to go. So when I look at history, where is history supposed to go? What page? But I'm also then dictating what pages do all of those exist on. So when I look at my ticket, for instance, I would scroll down, I'd find that screen, my ticket, you'll see that it has the same exact buttons at the bottom. So what I'm doing is when I'm adding this template to a page, I'm just searching and appending it to the right page that has that exact same menu bar that I want to add those same links to, or that same template. A best practice here, and we'll get into more best practices capture specific, but when you are uploading your screenshots, I've found it to be very helpful to put an asterisk next to the name of those screens. That way it's really easy for you when you go to link those pages to know which pages you're linking them to. So for instance, if I undo that page and now I'm going to select, I can now very easily see which one has the asterisk. I'll go ahead and link that, apply the template, and now it's applied to that additional page that I had just deleted. So it makes it very quick and easy to set it and then make sure it's attached to all of the other screens that you have. So taking it a step further from here, I wanted to show an example of what this would look like if you didn't set up a mobile template. I went through and I did some snapshots or screenshots rather of my Spotify on my phone, and I wanted to show you what this looks like when I preview from the beginning. So when I look at this, you'll notice that the menu bar is all the way at the bottom. And if you go to Spotify, if anyone has Spotify, you would know that the menu bar actually stays there. And the only thing that actually scrolls is the music above it, while you still have access to the navigation at the bottom. What I did to create this long screenshot for my mobile phone is I used a stitching app on my mobile phone. So there's many stitching apps out there, but essentially I just stitched the top portion of the screenshot to the bottom. And while this is great, and I can click to hip hop and click X to go back to my like songs, that's great. Again, the bottom portion is not static, and I don't have that mobile template set up that we were just talking about. So what I'll do is, as we were showing that button earlier, I'll press Manage My Mobile Templates, and I will need to add a new header or footer. But I know this is a footer because it's at the very bottom. So when I click that, I will then go all the way up to where I know that it's supposed to stop. Click once, and it is now going to have made this footer. At this point, I need to add some links. So I know that there is another page for create. So I'm going to go ahead and create this link. I'm going to select a target page, which I know is going to be the create button. And so that link has been set. So that's one of the first steps. But now we need to append this mobile template to different pages. And so, as I mentioned before, having those asterisks there makes it much easier. It's already going to be appended to the page that you created the template on, but now I can say I also need that on my hip hop snapshot, because I know when I click on hip hop, it's going to have that exact same template. It's going to be the same visual, same buttons and everything. So what does this look like when I actually play the demo now, or rather run the capture? You'll notice that this is at the bottom, and when I scroll, everything is statically at the bottom. I'm still going to be able to click to hip hop, and now this is now statically at the bottom too. And wherever I choose to press create, whether that is on my like songs or on hip hop, that is still going to take me to the same place. So without us having to go and do this on multiple snapshots, I was able to do it all at once with the mobile templates. One more piece, like I mentioned, you'll be able to start creating your captures through the portal. At the bottom left, where this new UI is, where you can go through and see all of your screens, you'll not only be able to see grid view, where you're able to see all of your snapshots and screenshots in one place, you'll also be able to add pages from here. So like I mentioned, you could start in the portal, and that's typically what you would do with mobile. You also have the ability to add new pages from the actual capture itself, videos, images, or even starting from the extension. And that's the mobile demo.
Thanks, Brian. Perfect. Laura, can you put up the slides? I think I had one more thing before we jump into Q&A.
Yes, just
So the last thing that I'll just touch on is some of the best practices and use cases, and I'll get through this quickly so we can get to some of the questions in the chat. So just some best practices when it comes to admin. We would definitely recommend that you go ahead and set up your branding center, your branding library. There we go. So not only can you customize things like the tooltip colors and the dialogue colors, you can also upload custom fonts. You can have a custom URL for the link to the tour as well, so that it reflects your own internal domain. And then you can also customize the favicon, so the little icon in the Chrome browser tab, to reflect your own logo. Additionally, if you have a lot of users or you have several different teams that are utilizing Capture, I would definitely recommend setting up some tags and folders to make organization and searching for tours easier. Additionally, just some best practices and recommendations for end users here. So this I had kind of briefly mentioned at the top of the webinar today, but creating a baseline tour and giving duplicate only access to other users can help save time and resources. And then using that text and image editing can allow them to customize the most impactful areas of the tour. You can also link multiple tours together to allow for viewers to navigate from one tour to another. So using that add link annotation allows you to add external URLs to the links as well. So that can be really helpful, where if you're creating more like modular tours for each individual feature set, you can then link them together to create more of an end-to-end experience. Another use case that we've seen more commonly is to link captured tours from a Saleo live demo using the URL redirect functionality in the extension. So this can be great if you have a preview of a new feature or you have more difficult to demo areas. in the live product, you can create a preset capture tour and have it redirect directly from the live demo. And then again, using videos and tours to capture more dynamic features like AI, or if you want to include a voiceover in a specific area, it can be great for that as well. And while Saleo is, mostly for sales and pre-sales, we see a lot of additional use cases from other teams as well. So obviously on the sales and pre-sales side, tours can be great as leave behinds or follow-ups after a conversation, allowing your prospects to share that internally with additional stakeholders or buyers that are part of the committee. But on the marketing side, we also see customers commonly using tours to embed them on their website or in various campaigns. Also, utilizing Capture could be great at a conference or event. Another quick tip that I'll share here is that you can actually preload tours into your browser. And even if you don't have a connection to internet, you can actually still click through the tour. So that has actually been a huge lifesaver for a lot of our customers. Customer success can also find a lot of value in tours in helping get new users or new customers onboarded, and really accelerating that time to value. Increasing feature adoption or highlighting new features can also be a great use case for customer success managers with tours. And then you can also use tours on the partner side as well. So equipping partners with tours that they can use with their prospects. And also the training piece can be really valuable with Capture. And then specifically for enablement teams, and we're seeing a lot more enablement teams getting involved with Capture. So really like product marketing, or if you have an entire enablement team, can utilize tours to train their internal teams on new features, or even allowing new reps to practice without being in a live environment. So hopefully this was valuable. This is just a kind of a high level snapshot of some of those use cases. And that is the end of my part of the webinar. So if there are any questions, Laura, we can go through them now.
Absolutely. Thank you. We got several questions. I'd say one of the first ones is probably about the CTA. Is that limited to a single screen? Can you do that on just one screen? Does it have to be on all of them?
That's a great question. So today it is persistent across all of the screens. However, if you have a use case for something where you want to limit it to one page, I might recommend using a dialog box or a tooltip and using the custom button functionality to redirect to another page or URL.
Wonderful. You mentioned adding Figmas into the mobile capture. Is that something that works?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So you just upload those mobile, the mobile downloaded images that you would have downloaded from Figma. You'll place them in, and just like I was showing with using those mobile templates and then making sure that you're linking to the right places. Absolutely. And we have a lot of customers using that today.
Awesome. Um, how do teams typically measure success with capture? Are there key engagement metrics or signals you could be paying attention to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I know we talked about the Zapier integrations earlier, so would definitely recommend setting that up if you want to pump some of the engagement data from specific tours into your CRM or your marketing automation platform. Within the Saleo portal itself, we do have tour by tour analytics, so you can see who's engaging with which pages, how long they're spending on certain pages, things like that at the tour level. But also within the Analytics Hub, we have more aggregate analytics across specific segments of tours based on tags that you can apply to those tours. So this can be helpful in understanding not only engagement and sharing that with the respective teams, but can also help you in terms of improving the capture experience, especially if you're noticing, a large majority of users are bouncing from a particular page, or they are clicking, the persistent CTA from a particular page, and there are ways that you can enhance or improve upon your tours based on those analytics.
Wonderful. And then I think our final question is asking about best practices enablement or documents that people can access.
So I do know that we have a knowledge base article around tags and folders. I don't know if we have anything specifically around best practices, but Brandon, I would definitely recommend that you reach out to your CSM or your implementation manager, and they can provide some further guidance. And it looks like Brian's actually dropped the link to the article directly in the chat. So thanks, Brian, for sharing that.
Oh, let me, sorry. Um, Awesome. Well, it looks like that wraps up our questions, and I think we're out of time anyways. So thank you again for all of you who joined us. We really appreciate it. As I said, we'll follow up with a recording of the webinar. There's an exit survey. We deeply appreciate your feedback. We're always looking for more ways to support our customers, so would love to hear from you there. And Eunice and Brian, thank you so much. This was hopefully very educational for everyone. I know I enjoyed it. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.